Terry Bradshaw wore number 12. Aaron Rodgers wears number 12. We played earlier today on PFT Live the clip of Bradshaw from Moose and Maggie on WFAN, where Bradshaw went in on Aaron Rodgers regarding the way he's handling the Green Bay Packers. Terry Bradshaw realizing that taking on Aaron Rodgers could be good for business. He's on Today with Colin Cowherd, and his name is trending on Twitter. Here's Terry Bradshaw earlier today with more criticism of the reluctant Packers quarterback.
While Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal, look, he's an incredible player, but I could sit here and tell you right now he has probably the worst footwork I've ever seen for a starting quarterback. I mean, I was talking to John Zarnecki this morning, and I said, he's an amazingly accurate. He protects the football. He puts up monster numbers, but his footwork is all over the place. And I don't know if that's because he got hit a lot. He's out of position and doesn't trust his lineman. Very seldom steps into a throw. Pretty impressive, actually. Yeah. But I do believe they are a little bit pampered. A lot of coaches would say, you know what? He deserves to be pampered. He's this, he's that. And I say, look, you signed a contract. You've got a couple of years left on that. If you want to be like Tom Brady, play out your contract and then move on. But in this case, you can't force. Aaron Rodgers coddled maybe too much. He has no right to want to get the GM fired. What right does he have? No more right than I have to call Eric Shanks and say, tear my contract up. I had a really good year. And you go, well, you've got 4 years left on it. Yeah, but I had a really good year.
There's a lot there. I want to start at the end and work my way backward to the extent I remember the stuff that will be on the back end. Remember, with NFL players, there are two contracts that govern the relationship with a team: the individual contract with the organization and the broader contract between the union and the league. And the player has rights under both contracts, and the player has mechanisms for exerting leverage, has a right to not show up for training camp if he's willing to suffer the financial consequences. So you can, as an NFL player, take advantage of certain rights that you have under the CBA. Now, if you're a rookie with fewer than 3 years in the NFL, you got no rights because there's nothing you can do to get a new contract. But for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, there are things you can do. So I just want to start right there and say, let's not get this twisted, because this is broader than the contract that Aaron Rodgers has with the Green Bay Packers. Now, it's true he'd have a hell of a lot more leverage if his contract expired, like Tom Brady's did. And it's true that Aaron Rodgers always grabs the bag, as the kids say, and signs a long-term deal that puts him under contract with the Packers for multiple years into the future, and he's got 3 more years. So, yes, he is under contract, and yes, that is part of the leverage the Packers have. But this is very different, Charean, than the individual contract that a Terry Bradshaw would have with Fox, because there's no broader union contract that Terry Bradshaw could rely upon to give him rights to try to force the Packers to do something they don't want to do.
Mike, this is why I love you, because you're so good at breaking down the legal stuff and the contract stuff, and it's just another example of that, and you're exactly right. And let's just remember, too, the era that Terry Bradshaw played in the 1970s, there was no free agency, right? And it was called the no trade league back then because they didn't make trades. Quarterbacks had no leverage at that point when Terry Bradshaw played. They have leverage now. They figured that out, and they're using that leverage like they've never used it before. And I think we're seeing that in this example of Aaron Rodgers. And he does have leverage, despite what all these old school people want to say. He has no leverage because he's under contract. He does have leverage. He absolutely has leverage. So now it may force him to retire and pay back the money that he owes the Packers of signing bonuses and roster bonuses that have already been paid. And you've written a great article about that, Mike. $44.5 million he'd have to pay back. But he does have leverage. Let's get that straight right now. He has absolute leverage.
Yes, the world is different when it relates to football players. And Tom Brady has demonstrated that. And Tom Brady has psychologically wrecked multiple franchises this year by leaving the Patriots, winning a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, and demonstrating to all great quarterbacks out there, that there is another way. I think it's a combination of Antonio Brown tweeting his way out of Pittsburgh one year and then Tom Brady managing to walk out of New England with no contract to hold him in place the next. And it kind of morphed together, and it's given quarterbacks who are under contract a realization that there are still options that you have despite the fact that you're under contract. Where this goes for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers still remains to be seen. I believe firmly that this is all strategic. This is all calculated, that everything that happened last week was something that Rodgers desired to have happen. And you're starting to see reports along the lines of, well, Rodgers didn't intend for any of this to happen. His camp didn't leak it. Well, why in the hell would the Packers leak all of it? Why would they put out there, for example, that Rodgers wants Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the team, fired, and then lie about the sourcing of it, that it came from Rodgers' camp? I think all of this came from Rodgers' camp, and I think Rodgers wants to have plausible deniability. I've heard that he's told at least one teammate, I don't know what the big deal is. Now, there's a difference between hearing that through the grapevine and having Rodgers say, I don't know what the big deal is, but maybe he's just testing that out to see how people react to it. I don't buy it. I think it's too late for him to do the Steve Urkel, did I do that nonsense, or, pretend that it's not what it is, because he knows what's going on. He sees the reaction. He liked the Devontae Adams tweet. So, we're in this holding pattern. The Packers aren't going to say or do anything right now. What's Rodgers going to say? What's he going to do? And it will be very disappointing if he tries to act like this was something that didn't happen or something that he didn't have a spoon in the stew for. It's too late for him to try to walk this back. It's been out there for 5 days now, Charean.
Well, and it started, Mike, let's back up even farther than that. On the day after the season ended, or immediately after the game, in that follow-up press conference, when he basically laid it out there, what he wanted, and it sounded like there was some unhappiness there, and talked about the beautiful mystery of his future and all those sorts of things. So this has been ongoing for months now, and it's kind of sped up over the past few days. And like you said, who knows where this is headed? I always thought Aaron Rodgers will return for one more year, and I think probably that was the Packers' plan. Maybe not their initial plan, but once he won the MVP award, I think that was their plan. And I think their plan changed along the way, but Aaron Rodgers may be changing their plan along the way too, saying, I don't like this. I want out of Green Bay. But it almost seems like, Mike, like he wants his cake and to eat it too. Like he wants to leave Green Bay is what it sounds like to me, but he doesn't want the fans to hate him. He wants the fans to still like him in Green Bay, and that's probably not going to be possible. I get it. He didn't draft Jordan Love. I get that. They drafted his replacement. But nonetheless, this exit is not going to be pretty, and Packers fans are not going to like Aaron Rodgers the way he's exiting Green Bay.
And you hit the nail on the head. The idea that he wants to be able to get out of Green Bay without alienating the fan base. We already heard a little pandering to the fan base on Saturday after Mike Tirico had spoken with Rodgers at the Kentucky Derby. Paraphrase some of the things Rodgers said. He loves Green Bay. He loves the fans. He loves the franchise. The fans are caught between the Packers and the quarterback. And I think this is why the Packers are willing to call his bluff. They don't think he'll ultimately put his name to it. They don't think he'll ultimately say out loud, publicly. Privately, yes, because he has. Look, he's dragged them out there at least 3 times to California, to genuflect, to kiss the ring, to kiss the ass, to kiss whatever, to get Aaron Rodgers in a mindset to show up and play. And there's no, hey, problem solved, new contract. The new contract is the thing that would let us know that it's problem solved and everything's fine. So there's clearly something privately that's been communicated that publicly hasn't. You hit the nail on the head. He doesn't want the fans to get upset with him. And that's the strongest card the Packers have, because they know he's going to be very reluctant to do that. And, I wrote something today, and I fully and firmly believe this. And Packers fans are upset that I'm even pointing it out. Packers fans should be upset with everyone here. They should be upset with the Packers for the way they handled the situation last year with Jordan Love. And they should be upset with Aaron Rodgers for pulling the pin on the grenade the first day of the draft when Brian Gutekunst and the rest of the front office needed to be focused exclusively on the draft. You don't need this distraction when you're trying to go out and draft the best players you can and make good trades and do all the things necessary to make the team better. They don't need that headache. And Aaron Rodgers deliberately gave him that headache. So if I'm a Packers fan, I'm upset with everybody right now, Charean. And I think that Aaron Rodgers already, through 5 days of silence, because you also hit the nail on the head when you said the last time around when this came up after the NFC Championship game, what did he do? He went on Pat McAfee's show 2 days later and said, "Oh no, whoa, you got me all wrong. Oh no, he said everything but we could all be dead by Sunday." This time around, he's not going on anywhere, and he's not saying anything. And he's smart enough to know how the fire is raging. If he had anything to say to walk it back, he would do it. Silence is deafening. Silence is confirmation, given these circumstances.
Oh, there's no question. I think silence speaks to his efforts to get out of Green Bay and do it graciously where Packers fans still like him. And I just don't think that's possible at this point. There's just too much in the water right now for, as you said, put the toothpaste back in the toothpaste holder. You just can't do it at this point, the tube, but you just can't do it. I mean, it's out there. All of this is out there. He's going to get traded at some point, whether that's this year that this has sped that up or next year when he doesn't show up to training camp and everything else, or he plays out this year and he's going to be traded after this year. But at some point soon, Mike, Aaron Rodgers no longer is going to be the Packers quarterback. That's just reality of this. And it was reality the day they drafted Jordan Love that it was going to be his team at some point. And that timeline seems to be speeding up at this point.
I think toothpaste back in the toothpaste holder is kind of a Simsism. I think you've been watching too much PFT Live and Sims has been influencing you. I like it, though. I like it.
It is.
And look, you're right. One of the things that bothers me about NFL fandom generally, when there's a fight between the billionaires and the millionaires, the fans align with the billionaires. The fans align with the team. The team's always going to be there. The players are going to come and go. And Aaron Rodgers is so close to the end that, yeah, he's going to be gone anyway. So they're eventually going to gravitate to the Packers. Nothing Aaron Rodgers says or does is going to make the average Packers fan stop being a Packers fan. It's not going to happen. So you're not going to win that fight. Now, maybe you can pull it off the way Tom Brady did, but Tom Brady's contract expired, and Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls. He got the benefit of the doubt. No one was upset with Tom Brady. And also, Patriots fans kind of saw the team wasn't very good. And is it Tom Brady? Is it the team? You know, it felt like it was time for it to end. 20 years was enough. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have 20 years in, and he only has 1 Super Bowl win with the Packers. So I think it's a different situation altogether, and he is going to risk, if he isn't already alienating fans, and I think he is alienating some, he's going to alienate more the longer this goes. And if he tries that, I didn't mean any of this. I don't know what the big deal is. I haven't been paying attention to social media. None of that's going to work. There's too much out there for him to try to act like any of it is false and that he didn't have a hand in making sure that it all happened when it did, the first opening night of the draft since last year when the Packers stunned him with the Jordan Love selection.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.